The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history. In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing. The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We get crushed.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I get into anything in this video, I'm going to preface this with a fair warning. I have plenty of families that watch my videos every single day. And to those families, I will ask you politely that if children are watching, to remove them from the room, as I'm about to go in, uncuffed, no filter, because I'm absolutely heated. What I have witnessed over the past couple days come out about this FTX situation has been an abomination to humanity, the United States, retail investors, and the American public. You have absolutely no idea how big this rabbit hole goes, and my number one mission moving forward until further notice is to get Gary Gensler the hell out of the SEC. Fuck Gary Gensler, and fuck the SEC. This is absolutely horrendous, and an absolute shit show is about to occur because of him and him alone. And I'm going to explain to you why, and the biggest deep dive I've ever done, and the most passionate video I've ever done, and you all are going to be part of this movement.
My actual argument is Gary Gensler. He's been so busy saying, we will fight you when you do wrong, and he has not created a set of rules of which people need to abide by. And everybody's been asking him, and he's refused to do it. And now you get this. And I think, if there's somebody who should get fired for this, it's Gensler. Not because, oh my God, you didn't protect these individuals and it's all happened. It's not about the retrospective. It's like you failed to do your singular job, which is to regulate a space, and everybody, all the industry, Brian Armstrong, all of these people have been going to him endlessly saying, you need to do something about this. Even, the Brad Garling and the XRP Ripple guys have been saying you need a ruling because nobody can operate. And when nobody operates, the grey area happens, and it's this. And it's his fault for being so slow and being so aggressive without actually doing anything.
Raoul Paul, that is the best take I've ever seen in my life. Gary Gensler has done nothing. The entire crypto industry for years has been asking for regulations to fucking follow. There have been no regulations to follow. And yet, here we are. The biggest catastrophe in crypto has occurred. Pompliano stated, based on my conversations over the past 24 hours, people are drastically underestimating how much damage has been done this week to institutional interest in Bitcoin and the broader crypto industry. You all need to understand how disgusting this is. Raoul Paul stated, the issue here is not the FTX situation, but the Alameda unwind. And there is an even larger liquidity cascade to come. I am telling you that there is. We are not done feeling the ripple effects of what just occurred. And this is going to get ugly fast. Me personally, as a retail investor, I am going to hold on to the majority of my positions only because I am long-term bullish on the space. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The crypto market is fucked at the moment, and we're going to see some pain. Weather the storm, because I've been saying a moment like this will come when regulations will be afoot. This is the regulation catalyst, and we all need to understand that. CZ from Binance warns of a cascading crypto market crisis similar to the '08 financial crisis. And he's absolutely right. You need to hold on tight. FTX had $16 billion in customer assets and they gave $10 billion to Alameda, who blew it all. This will have consequences that you can't even imagine. But you know what's funny? We, the retail investor, are going to pick up the tab. The Department of Justice and the SEC are investigating the FTX collapse as the entire crypto market plunges. Oh, fuck you, Gary. How convenient for you, my friend. Yes, investigate after shit hits the fan, as opposed to regulating the industry like the XRP Army has been telling you to do for years. But I perfectly understand why the SEC and Gary Gensler choose not to regulate. The current chairman of the SEC was appointed by a politician who received $5 million in funding from Sam Bankman-Fried. Oh, how beautiful paper trails are. His appointment as SEC chair was confirmed by Congress, and congressional candidates received an additional $26 million in donations from Sam Bankman-Fried in the last year. If I have to, I'll get Gary fired my damn self. Oh, this is gonna be a shit show for you, Gary. Gary! Are you paying attention, Gary? Nobody fucking likes you, Gary. 'Cause you don't do your job, Gary. You like taking money under the table, just like Bill Hinman, just like Jay Clayton, just like Mark Berger, just like the rest of the SEC officials the XRP Army has been exposing for years. You know what has me hot? The crypto industry poo-pooed Ripple. They cheered when we got sued, when the XRP Army presented facts and information of the conflicts of interest on this case. Charles Hoskinson called us a conspiracy theorist community. Hey Charles, you think this is still a fucking conspiracy? You think we're playing fucking games? Or do you think there's actually something going on here? Oh, this is great. The humility I see in the crypto industry now stretches far and wide. Nobody saw this specific moment coming, but the XRP Army has been warning that this type of shit is happening behind the scenes. We are not conspiracy theorists. We've always been fucking correct. And now, like absolute clockwork, our favorite piece of shit politicians are all coming out, acting like nothing is going on, and they never took any money, and there was never any backroom deals. Elizabeth Warren states that the collapse of one of the largest crypto platforms shows how much of the industry appears to be smoke and mirrors. We need more aggressive enforcement, and I'm gonna keep pushing the SEC to enforce the law, to protect consumers and financial stability. She's gonna get us all fucked. That's what she's trying to do. Brian Armstrong stated in response, FTX was an offshore exchange not regulated by the SEC at all. And this is something a lot of people need to understand. How the hell was FTX supposed to be regulated? The problem is that the SEC failed to create any regulatory clarity here in the US. So many American investors and 95% of trading went offshore, and punishing US companies for this makes zero sense. Brad Garlinghouse goes on to state, to protect consumers, we need regulatory guidance for companies that ensures trust and transparency. There's a reason why most crypto trading is offshore. Companies have zero guidance on how to comply in the United States. Compared to Singapore, token taxonomy laid out, licensing framework, and much more, they can appropriately regulate crypto because they've done the work that defines what good looks like and know how tokens aren't security, despite what Chair Gensler insists. This is an abomination to the United States. These regulators, they act after shit hits the fan. But I don't think Elizabeth Warren has any conflicts of interest within the crypto industry. No. Of course not. Why would she? But I can state as an absolute fucking fact that Gary Gensler has ties to the crypto industry. And Gary Gensler has been cultivating a relationship with Elizabeth Warren. Politically, Gary Gensler's goal is to have his name on the money by becoming a U.S. treasurer. Oh, Gary, your career ambitions are going in the shitter, Gary. The XRP Army is watching you clearly, Gary. And we're gonna make sure your shit show of a career ends here, Gary. You see, Gary Gensler had given Elizabeth Warren's daughter an internship. Oh, people don't know this. This is how politics work. Gary and Elizabeth Warren have a nice close-knit relationship, and he most definitely is a puppet for her. But would Gary have ties to FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried in any capacity, aside from what I just showed you here on Instagram? We see Wheezy states it's possible that if the SEC would have taken the below complaint seriously and investigated like the cop on the beat they claim to be, people wouldn't have lost billions of dollars. You shall have nothing. FTX and SBF is and was involved in money laundering, theft, fraud, violations of federal and state laws. And this was filed to the SEC September 10th, 2021. Victim claims the SEC is not listening to his complaints about SBF. Meanwhile, the SEC was taking meetings with Sam Bankman-Fried. I wonder what was discussed. I really want to fucking know. Maybe, just maybe, if Gary Gensler wasn't trying to go after a useless fucking crypto-like library and actually try to investigate actual corruption like FTX, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. And my apologies to Library, but nobody is paying attention to library credits. Everyone's paying attention to FTX. Why the fuck? Maybe, just maybe, if Sam Bankman-Fried's mother was not a founder of a Democrat super PAC called Mind the Gap, maybe those allegations would have been looked into more seriously. Oh, are you beginning to see the conflicts of interest and corruption? Oh, this is an entire political party, my friends. For those of you that were not aware, Sam Bankman-Fried was the second largest donor to the Joe Biden administration. And he was a massive donor to the entire Democratic Party as a whole. Oh, but SBF made a powerful mistake. And let's hear that mistake right now.
Funny, it's this arranged marriage between big government and big business in this country, Tucker. Yes. You know it well. Where actually Elon was a darling, by the way, when he was pushing the climate religion. He only fell out of favor when he started pushing free speech. Now, take this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, who actually goes by SBF in the crypto world, so let's call him SBF. The interesting thing here is he actually bought protection. He played the old Goldman Sachs pre-2008 game. You'll remember this. Goldman Sachs paid for a lot of protection from the government to pay out. It's like an insurance policy when it matters most. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, that's why Goldman Sachs got bailed out while Lehman Brothers didn't. Well, SBF appears to be playing a really similar game. He's a top donor to the Democratic Party, even as his exchange was going bust. Yet there's one small nuance to this, Tucker. I think they might actually go after him and punish him anyway. And here's the funny part, not a lot of people know. He actually had pledged up to $1 billion in donations this cycle and next. So there were actually a lot of Democrats upset with him that he only gave 30 to 40 million. So if they do go after him, it's because he didn't buy the gold-plated insurance policy. He just stopped at the cheap version of the insurance policy instead. And so if he is indicted, or if he does get in trouble, that'll be one of the lessons of the story for future crony capitalists is pay up for full freight or else you're going to get in trouble.
Wow! Isn't that something? Sam Bankman-Fried bought the cheap insurance policy. Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried might be the fall guy for this entire situation in the crypto industry and for the Democratic Party, but I need to make something clear. Ryan Selkis from Masari stated that SEC was on the brink of offering relief and exemptions for FTX because Sam Bankman-Fried was considered an adult in the room in Washington, D.C. Of course, he was an adult in the room with a fat paycheck. Now that your money supply is getting cut off, oh, he doesn't matter to you guys anymore, does he? Ryan Selkis also goes on to mention that SBF's family had favorable political connections to Gary Gensler. This is how deep the ties run. This is how deep conflicts of interest run. This is how they play the game in the political world. And this is going to be an interesting situation. Jake Chervinsky stated for many months in DC an argument made by those pushing crypto spot market legislation was that FTX might close a deal with the SEC, setting harmful precedent for everyone else. So we should take what we get, even if it's not perfect. Tom Emmer, Republican congressman, stated Gary Gensler runs to the media while reports to my office allege he was helping Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX work on legal loopholes to obtain a regulatory monopoly. This is something you all need to understand. While Gary Gensler is on TV right now, stating all these things about FTX and how we need to regulate crypto, he had his connections and was going to take money from SBF to ensure that FTX succeeded. FTX had a money printer and that they get to win. He doesn't give a damn about regulating crypto because he was going to annihilate it. Now he's going to turn and try and annihilate it with his own mans. What a little rat Gary Gensler is. What a little dickhead Gary Gensler is. And watch as he runs to the media machine to try and screw us over, acting as if we're not gonna get you. Gary Gensler, the XRP Army is watching, and everyone wants to get you fired. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a listen to this dickhead.
Well, let's talk about that, Gary, because critics would say, look, you have been talking about the need for regulating, and yet have not. There's been lots of focus. We had you on last time when you went after Kim Kardashian. But on a relative basis, going after Kim Kardashian compared to what is now a massive undoing of FTX isn't enough. What do you say about that?
Look, I think that investors need better protection in this space. But I would say this is a field that's significantly non-compliant, but it's got regulation, and those regulations are often very clear.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is? While watching that clip, I actually understand Gary. He doesn't want to get fired, and he believes deep in his mind, if he doesn't do his actual job, he thinks he might actually get to keep it. Sympathize with Gary, as all he's trying to do is keep his job during this recession.
And we have multiple paths. And one path is working with those crypto exchanges, crypto lending platforms, and to get them properly registered. And why that matters is that's so the public's protected. But we have another path, which is enforcement. We've brought, between my predecessor and the teams now at the SEC, at least 100 actions in this case. And we've been very clear in these various enforcement actions. And we had a big win even this week on a crypto token called Library, where a court clearly said, you've been on fair notice. And yes, this is the securities under the securities law.
Actually, ladies and gentlemen, there's an SOS out for Gary Gensler as we speak. Gary Gensler has clearly not been paying fucking attention to all the amicus briefs in the Ripple XRP case, all of the facts coming out. He clearly is not aware about the Bill Hinman emails. Have you seen Gary Gensler? Because it seems he has gone fucking missing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make myself clear. Library did not stand a chance against the SEC because they were a small crypto token. They had a very, very, very tough time going up against the SEC. They had no crypto community support. But now, Gary's on national television acting as if they do something. Why don't you speak about the Ripple case, Gary? I thought we don't bring up individual cases, Gary. Or is that only when it's convenient for you?
But Gary, in fairness, there are millions, if not billions of dollars that are going to get tied up that potentially will get lost in this situation by investors, not just retail investors, but pensions that have given money to venture capitalists that have invested in these things. Shouldn't this be more regulated?
Yes, Andrew, and the laws are clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. Gary Gensler has been found. And we see that Gary Gensler was on his way to try and protect retail investors and ensure free and fair markets by stating that the crypto industry does need more regulation, but at the exact same time stating that the regulations are perfectly clear. Oh, Gary, I'm so glad you're okay. Because now we can all fire you as a collective. Listen to this dickhead keep pretending he gives a fuck.
And look, the runway is running out. I mean, the American public and investors around the globe are getting hurt by a field that says they put a lot of fancy talk around it, Andrew, and the technology is interesting. And I taught it at MIT, and I think that there is some innovations here, but we still need investor protection. And so what I would say is, come in and talk to us. You've heard that before. The runway is getting shorter, and the laws are clear.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the best example I could show you of the SEC trying their very best to protect retail investors. FTX was an atomic bomb set up for the entire crypto industry. We will pick up the short end of the stick, but we will persevere if we stay in this market. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We are fighting the good fight. And we will win in the end. Now, with that being said, let me bring you back to the continued evidence of the conflicts of interest that Gary Gensler and the SEC has with this specific situation. Did you guys know that Alameda's CEO, Caroline Capital's dad, Glenn Ellison, is the department head of economics at MIT? And prior to getting appointed to the SEC, Gary Gensler was a professor for the practice of global economics and management at MIT. So Gary Gensler and Glenn Ellison, wink wink, hush hush, Alameda, FTX, Gary. Are you starting to feel uncomfortable, my friend? Because you've been making XRP investors and crypto investors feel uncomfortable for a long time. Stu Alderati, Ripple's general counsel, states the only runway that's running out is the worn out and frankly false talking points of SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Ripple has been activated. Ripple has been dominating the SEC case. And now they're not taking shit anymore. His insistence on elevating the SEC's quest for power over effective regulation in this country is creating deep financial damage, and I can't stress that enough. And BitBoy said it best. It is time to consider an organized movement against Gary Gensler. He is as crooked as the day is long. He was literally working with Sam Bankman-Fried to check the entire industry. It needs to be more than just tweets and letters. And BitBoy, if you do really want to be considered by not just yourself, but the entire XRP Army as a supreme leader, you should send me a message, because I myself have been fully activated, and I promise you, I will get this son of a bitch fired. Fuck Gary Gensler. And for those of you watching this video, hit up Ben, because we should get on a call, my friend. I have some ideas. Jeremy Hogan stated from the White House, unfortunately, FTX is one of the Democrat Party's top donors, and we will be returning all of those funds immediately. That was never said. That was never said. But that is the reality. The White House stated, regulation of cryptocurrencies is needed. Oh, how convenient, after you take all this money from the exact exchange that made crypto need more regulation. Fuck all these people. Fuck them all. And if things couldn't be any worse, and if things couldn't be any more obnoxious, Sam Bankman-Fried, all he can do is post some nonsense on Twitter and say, I'm sorry. I fucked up. My friend, nobody cares. And fuck you. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with this. FTX's collapse will spur regulation, and this is a good thing for the crypto industry. I have to stress it. Former CFTC Chair Chris Giancarlo from the Digital Dollar Project has stated in the past he believes XRP is not a security. He has stated he's been a long advocate for a comprehensive response to crypto. And I absolutely agree. Regulations will bring trillions into the crypto market. But right now we're going to feel the bleeding. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to be on watch. Tether, the biggest stablecoin on the planet, has lost its peg to the US dollar. It's something we need to keep in mind. Systemic risk is a possibility in the entire crypto industry right now. And while I know for a fact we will survive this storm, we have no idea what's going to come next. This is what I can say. I'm not surprised that they decided to use SBF and FTX as the scapegoat for crypto regulations. But they're using FTX, which is deep Illuminati, to collapse the entire crypto industry. And I'm going to explain to you why that's actually a good thing. Over the past couple months, we've been tired and bored of the market just going sideways. Markets only go in three directions. That's up, down, and sideways. For the past year, we've been going down. For the past 2 months, we've been going sideways, which means we still have up to go. And let me tell you this. Institutions, the trillion-dollar institutions, the BlackRocks, the Citadels, the Fidelities, the big boys, the Vanguards will come in to this space with the trillions upon trillions of dollars in capital when regulation is passed. But you best believe they're gonna get in at rock bottom entries. If this is the catalyst for the great crypto apocalypse where 99% of cryptos die, that is a good thing, and I've been speaking about this moment for a long time. We're seeing action happen, and that is the most important and interesting thing that you all need to understand. We are so close to the finish line. We're so close to getting our rewards on our regulatory compliant digital assets that it's not even funny. Weather this moment, and you will change your life forever. Get your cryptos off the damn exchanges. Get your hardware wallets. Stay in regulatory compliant cryptos. And we will all persevere. Now, without further ado, guys, to cap off this video, I'm going to play you this clip of BitBoy Crypto calling out FTX for exactly what happened. My friend, this was a legendary move, and with absolute savagery, they've been taken down. A round of applause to you, and I look forward to speaking soon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. And if it's the last thing I do, Gary Gensler, we're all gonna fire you. Fuck you, Gary. We're coming for you. The Bearable Boogeyman has been awakened.
going to be crossing out FTT and Solana. These are going to be going out of the portfolios, and we are going to be ushering in Algo and HBAR in these portfolios. So we're going to be subbing out those for those. These coins are dead to me. Sam Bankman-Fried, you're dead to me. Brett Harrison, you are dead to me. FTX, you are dead to me. You are despicable, and I'm disgusted by you in every way, shape, or form, and everybody's going to be on that track, and I'm going to make sure. All right, guys, that's behind FTT and Solana. Sam Bankman-Fried, Brett Harrison, other people that are behind that. Working with Senator Chuck Schumer. You guys know Chuck Schumer. He absolutely put Ross Ulbricht away for 2 life sentences. He was the main person pushing that from Silk Road. Also responsible for the BIT license in New York City, which is considered to be the worst piece of crypto regulation in history. What FTT, Solana, and Chuck Schumer are trying to do is so bad for crypto, and I can't tell you what it is right now. It could basically end decentralization. I know that sounds insane, but that's the goal. That's what they want. They want to make it illegal for you to do any transaction that's peer-to-peer or done on a decentralized platform. That's what we're doing is we're going to be crossing out FTT and Solana. These are going to be going out of the portfolios, and we are going to be ushering in Algo and HBAR in these portfolios. So we're going to be subbing out those for those. These coins are dead to me. Sam Bankman-Fried, you're dead to me. Brett Harrison, you are dead to me. FTX, you are dead to me. You are despicable, and I'm disgusted by you in every way, shape, or form, and everybody's going to be on that track, and I'm going to make sure.